Good morning, guys. How are you? My name is Mackenzie, and you are watching Little Farm Folk. Here, my family of 6 lives in a 620 square foot log house. It is 1 bedroom, 1 bath. If you've ever seen any of our videos, you can see that we started to renovate it. We still have some things we have to finish, the trim on the windows, but we took out all the chinking, replaced logs, and made it a solid home for our family. I was uploading videos of our build, and I kind of just slowed down because life got really busy. When doesn't it, right? But since then, my Instagram account has blown up. We are on the cusp of 90,000 followers right now, which is just mind-blowing. It's literally mind-blowing that there are 90,000 people remotely interested in our lives and what we're doing on our homestead. But it's also very humbling and very cool at the same time. There's our house. So today's video, I want to go ahead and try and answer some questions that I have been getting on my Instagram. And it's been hard because Instagram, it's a platform where you have 15-second stories, or you have so many seconds in a reel. So I figured this would be a great way to move some content over from my Instagram to my YouTube channel to really just kind of help more people who want to get started homesteading. That is the number one question that I get. I'm gonna put my coffee down right here. That is the number one question that I get at least 2 to 3 times a day from my followers is, I love your life. I love that you homestead. How can I get started? And so I just want to impart some wisdom to new homesteaders from I guess a longtime homesteader. You're drinking my coffee, get out! Cats! Look at that. Anyways, impart some wisdom, that things that I wish I would have known, advice that maybe I even heard but I didn't really heed as a new homesteader. We've been doing this for, oh my gosh, probably 11 years now. So we've been doing this basically since we got married, and even before we got married, my husband and I. And so we've learned a lot of things along the way. And so I just want to help you get started, have a really good opportunity, and maybe not make some of the mistakes that we did. And you know what? If you do make mistakes, that's fine too, because that comes with the territory of homesteading. But let me just jump into it. Okay. Number one, if you can do this, you should do this. You need to do this. Are you ready? Get out of debt. It's not fun. It's not easy, and it's hard. If you have consumerism debt, you need to get out of it. And the reason is, homesteading is not cheap. There are ways to go about it to make it affordable, and there are ways to just to try and pinch pennies and to make things happen. But realistically, consumerism debt, that is slavery and that is bondage. And that's gonna hold you back in many ways. I get it if you have a mortgage, if you have a car payment. This is very common for our society and our culture. But if you have credit card debt especially, you need to get out of that. And you need to get yourself fluid cash. And this is gonna be a great time coming up for new homesteaders who are wanting to buy land, maybe even wanting to do this for a while, and you have just seen all of the property prices skyrocket. Well, we're about to enter, and we might already be there, a recession. And so what's gonna happen is all of these prices that are so high, those property values are gonna drop. And you probably have a good year to 18 months to really pay off all of your debts. And that would just be incredible. And the reason is, if you have your debt paid off and you have a little nest egg, then you can jump on the property of your dreams that you probably could have never afforded before. And we were able to get this house under market value, which was a huge blessing, but we would not have been able to buy this property and the homestead had we not had that kitty of cash set aside. We could have not done it. And so that is my best piece of advice, my number one piece of advice to new homesteaders is get out of consumerism debt and build up cash flow. There's been so many times that we have had the opportunity to buy something at a discount, and we were able to do it because we had the cash to do it. We were able to buy our tractor, which is not cheap. We paid cash for that. We were able to buy, another example was chicken crates, which sounds ridiculous, but the plastic crates that you put chickens in to transport to butcher are very expensive. And so we had the cash at one point when they were on a really good deal. We've been looking for years for these crates, that we found them on Facebook Marketplace, and we were able to jump on it right away because we had the cash. Cash is king in the homesteading world. Don't ever forget that. My second tip to new homesteaders, that's something that you can do right now, whether you are living in an apartment, if you're living in the suburbs, if you have an acre or two. Learn to cook from scratch. So once you get on your homestead, you have all of these other learning curves that come in. And if you know how to cook food from scratch, how to stretch meals and make things last, even how to preserve food, that is half the battle right there. Growing food, harvesting food, they all have learning curves. So if you can figure out how to cook from scratch, that's huge. And then on top of that, when you get on your homestead, you're gonna know what you like and what you don't like, because it's very fun to look through seed catalogs and see all of these wonderful, delicious delicious vegetables that are so beautiful, but then you grow them and then you realize everybody hates them. And what you should have stuck with was your staples, because that's gonna stretch your food the longest. That's gonna help you be more sufficient in the long run. I don't grow a huge amount of radishes because nobody likes radishes. Nobody likes okra in our family. Nobody likes pickles or fermented foods. So I don't do those things. And those are things that I did at first, and I had a ton of radishes and nobody ate them. So learn to cook from scratch. And then as you're learning to cook from scratch, you're learning what meals your family really likes. Does your family eat one chicken meal a week? Well, then you know going forward, when you get a chance to raise meat birds, you need to raise at least 52 chickens that year in order to feed your family. And then what you do is then you backtrack, and then you figure out how many you can fit into your chicken tractor at a time. And so maybe you don't want to raise all 52 chickens in one setting, that's fine. Same with canning and preserving. If your family likes to eat pizza once a week, maybe some homemade pizza, well then you know you're gonna need at least maybe 1 quart of tomato sauce a week. You need at least 52 quarts of tomato sauce. And so then you can start planning ahead for how many plants you would need to plant. And so taking notes, being observant is going to help you in the long run. Thank you.
What's this, Mom?
Okay. Next tip, number 3 for new homesteaders, is learn 2 new skills a year. And it could be big and it could be little. It could be something from learning to make bread from scratch. It could be sourdough. Guess what? Fresh bread is still fresh bread even if it's not sourdough. It could just be yeasted bread. That's something that you can do from home. If you want to change your bread altogether, you could get into milling your own grain, storing grains up. You could do that in an apartment. That would drastically change your life in and of itself right there. Thank you. It's delicious. From an apartment. Again, it could be something little, just learning how to water bath can one thing. This year, I'm going to learn how to water bath can grape jelly. It is so easy and so simple, and when you get started, it feels very overwhelming. You know that phrase, how to eat an elephant? Well, it's one bite at a time, and homesteading is exactly like that. Learn one little thing. Maybe you just want to learn how you live in an apartment, you have an apartment balcony. Learn how to grow one herb and then learn how to dry that herb, because once you've kind of mastered those things, it will compile, and then you can do multiple herbs at multiple times. You don't even need a dehydrator, you could just use your oven. So there are many things at your disposal that you could be using and doing while paying down debt, while building up a savings account. So then my number 4 suggestion to new homesteaders is to acquire tools. because that is expensive too. So you may want to get onto your homestead. You have now saved, you've paid off your debt, you saved up your money, you put your lump sum down on your homestead. Well, guess what? Now you have to maintain this whole homestead. And you might be gardening the first year with a spoon. So if you can acquire tools beforehand that are super cheap, you've bought on sale, at discount, at yard sales, you've thrifted, that is gonna help you. When we first bought our house, our first house, it was on 1/4 of an acre. Branson and I were both making $12 an hour, and we were living in an apartment at the time. So we were living in an apartment, we were buying our first house, and I realized we don't have anything to take care of a yard. All we have is an apartment with no garage. So that summer that we were buying our house, I went to every single yard sale that I could find that summer, and I bought hand trowels, I bought shovels, I bought hose, I bought rakes, I bought a lawnmower, a push lawnmower. It wasn't a lot, but it was something, you know, and it was cheap. It was what we could afford. I didn't have to go into debt over it, and it helped us maintain our property once we were on there. And over time, we've scaled up. I think within the first year, we ended up buying a ride-on lawnmower. It was a Husqvarna. I think we paid $800 for that. We were able to stretch that $800 used lawnmower from our first house that we owned. We moved it to Colorado with us, and when we rented, and then we moved it back over to our house over here in Pennsylvania on 1 acre. And up until, I don't know, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, we used that $800 lawnmower nonstop. And then finally it died on us. We had put some money into it over time. And so finally we sized up to a 0 turn. And that was $5 grand. So we went from $20 piece of equipment to a $500 piece of equipment to a $5,000 piece of equipment over time. And so what you have is you just continue to build up in tools and knowledge and skills and resources. Doing these 4 things is going to help catapult you and give you the advantage when you get to your homestead, so that way you can really manage things well. Homesteading is not about what you have or what I have. It is not a race. It is not a competition. This is about you, your own life, your own family, your own home that you are responsible for. You are stewarding, and that is what is most important. So put on your blinders. Don't look at what everybody else has. Don't look at the Joneses. You don't know if somebody took out a huge loan for that chicken coop that they really can't afford. Put on the blinders. Don't pay attention to everybody else. Don't look at Instagram for the pretty pictures, okay? Because that is all deception. We know that. I even put up pretty pictures, and to be honest, our yard is full of junk all the time. You know, I zoom in on that one pretty part of my yard. The rest is trashed, you know, because we're busy. We have 4 kids. We have 6 cats. You know, it's a mess, but life is messy. That's just how it is. Life is messy. So don't worry about other people. And if you can, downsize. Downsize, downsize, downsize. America has so much, too much. Our country has too much abundance. When you actually think about how much abundance we actually have, it's almost kind of scary how much we have, you know? I can almost guarantee you could go through your wardrobe, you could go through under your bed, you could go through your garage, and you could sell half your stuff that you have, and you could make money to pay down your debt or to put aside for a savings account. You could go out and mow people's lawns. You could donate blood and make money. You just have to sit in a chair, make money, you know? You're techie, you could build websites for people, you could edit videos for people. If you're good with the camera, you could take people's photos. There's money to be made in the United States. Money like no other. And you can do it. It all starts here. It starts with the mindset. You tell yourself that you can't do something, well then guess what? You're not going to do it. It's just not going to happen. There is no one going to be there to push you and to tell you you need to do this. There's no one going to be there to tell you you need to get up. You need to go out there. You need to assert yourself. You need to have confidence. You need to be friendly. Having those skills will take you so far in life. They say that, what is it? You'll catch more flies with honey than you would vinegar. It's the same thing in life. Having a positive attitude will change your life. Having the mindset of saying that I can do this, I can overcome this. I am not weak. I am not afraid. I don't care what other people think of me. It's going to get you where you want to go. And it doesn't matter if it's homesteading or anything in life. I hope this was helpful for you guys. I'll wrap it up. My biggest things that you can do right now to a newbie homesteader: get out of consumerism debt, build a savings account. Learn to cook from scratch so you know what foods you like and what you don't like. Learn some skills, whatever it is, big, little, small, large investment, no investment at all. Learn a skill. Learn a skill. And don't worry about what other people are doing. Acquire the tools that you can, acquire the resources that you can, and don't look at other people, ever, in life, ever. Don't. It doesn't matter. It does not matter. It's only going to hurt you and steal your joy if you look at other people and you compare yourself. So I hope this was helpful. I hope this wasn't too intense for you guys. Maybe if you're from my Instagram following, this is going to be helpful, and you'll know where I'm coming from. So I hope you guys have a great day. Keep following this channel. If you liked it, hit like and subscribe. I'm going to be putting out more content. I really want to focus on this YouTube channel because I think we have a lot to offer. There's a lot of people looking for answers and advice, and I am happy to freely give this out to you. So thank you guys. Take care.